Welcome back, guys. Today's super general video, I want to go over two topics, or really two focus points to look at if we are struggling with, either joints feeling a little bit cranky or just a hard time dialing in our execution. What can we do without having expert knowledge of how to fix our form? Hopefully by this point, I've covered some of that stuff already in other videos. So if you would like to get something more detailed, just go look through my library and find a video on a more detailed topic in regards to this. But two things, I'll spoil it right here. First thing we're gonna look at is gonna be not training past our technical failure. So making sure that we're not letting our form fail and we're gonna keep training with poor form. Other things gonna be just slowing down and using a tempo. So we'll get into those in more detail. First thing being, don't train past failure of your technique. Okay, so if my shoulders are achy when I'm pressing or pulling, if my knees or my back is achy when I'm doing any sort of hinging or squatting, why might that be? If we have some sort of criteria for what our form should look like, and most people probably know this already, right? If it's kind of like I'm doing a set of 10 and my first 7 reps feel really good, and then like when things get really hard, intensity gets higher, I get tired, things start feeling really bad from a joint perspective. Obviously, if we're training hard, the movement's gonna feel worse or harder as we get through a set. But if at a certain intensity threshold, and I mean relative intensity, as I get closer to a failure point or end of a set, my knee starts to hurt, my back starts to hurt, my shoulder, whatever it is, we're probably training past some sort of technical failure point, right? So maybe my elbows are flaring, maybe I'm losing my tempo, maybe I'm losing positioning at my pelvis. Don't train past that point. So what we can do is maybe just train with a little bit more volume. Maybe instead of doing 2 sets, I do 3 sets, or instead of 3 sets, I do 4 sets, right? I do a little bit more because I'm not gonna hit that intensity point, but also because I'm doing more volume, I'm getting more skill, right? So I'm earning the right to do less volume down the road because I'm taking some time to not train with that certain intensity right now because I can't do it with good form, but I'm using that extra volume to gain skills so I can do that in the future, right? So next thing is going to be tempo. So like if we're having a hard time executing, having a hard time with our knees not hurting, shoulders not hurting, whatever, let's just slow down. Give a really strict tempo. This is not anything special, but it's gonna give us more time for us to organize ourselves in space, right? So it's like, if at some point in the movement, especially as I get into a deeper range of motion, things aren't feeling good, let's just give myself more time to get to that point, right? A lot of the times people send me form videos and they're just going too fast. It's like they want some sort of like, very specific fancy feedback about their form and their movement mechanics. And it's like, hey, just slow down. Like everything looks pretty good. We're just going way too fast. So we're not giving ourselves time to organize and get to the right position under control. So the feedback is not really fancy. It's like, hey, just slow down. So pretty generically, we could say, hey, 3-second eccentric, right? And then almost more importantly, or more specific, especially if it's like the bottom of a squat or bottom of a hinge or bottom of a press that we're really feeling that issue, let's add a pause, right? So a slower eccentric, add a pause to the end range. Those things are gonna work wonders for not only how our joints feel, but also learning the movement, right? We are controlling the lowering phase, so we're probably gonna get into a better position. We are controlling or pausing at the end range. So we're gonna really control that end range, which is where most people will struggle, is kind of that transition from the lowering to raising or eccentric to concentric. That's where a lot of like form issues or joint discomfort comes into play. So pause, slow down, use those things to your benefit. Don't train past technical failure. Utilize those things in your training if you're struggling with execution, struggling with how your joints feel. Obviously, we can get very into the weeds with execution on movement patterns, with cranky knees, shoulders, hips, whatever. We can get into the weeds on those, but very generic advice. Try these things first, see if that improves your outcome. If you have more specific questions on this, please let me know. I'll always cover those in future videos. Please like, subscribe, and I will see you guys soon.